And yeah, this is titled Salvaging an Aegis Idris, Potentially Huge Profits in 318. At this moment, I was waiting for Xeno Threat, but it got delayed an extra like 2 or 3 hours. Not only was I looking forward to salvaging an Idris, but I was looking forward to salvaging a Javelin today. But I don't think I'm going to get to do it on stream or just in general today because of the timing of everything now. But yeah, we were going to crew a Reclaimer and do that. So this is from Loudguns. We've been watching some of his videos lately. They're really good. And for those of you guys, somebody is asking in Twitch chat, so I might as well say to you guys on YouTube as well, is where can we submit video suggestions for reactions? There's a video react request channel on our Discord. So that's where I get all of these from. So yeah. But let's check this one out from Loudguns.
The channel. I'm Loudguns, and today we're back to report on some more of our 318 testing. We're going to try hunting down one of the in Star Citizen and see how much extra cash we can scrape out of it with the new salvage mechanics. If this sounds good to you, then grab a cup of tea while I roll the intro, and then
do you see this above me?
And let's get into it.
I can't wait to see what they do with the mole.
So the plan for our adventure was straightforward enough. Get an Idris to spawn, kill it, then see how much RMC we could scrape off the hull.
Okay.
Some bigger ships like the Aegis Javelin and RSI Bengal have made an appearance in the verse for events like Xenothreat and Fleet Week. The Aegis Idris is the biggest ship you can consistently get to spawn.
Yeah.
A big shout out to my crew from Frontier who helped pull this off. We weathered many a PTU-based bug together over a couple of nights, but got there in the end. I could imagine. And I couldn't have tried this without them. If you'd like to hop into our Discord, just use the link in the vid description, and you'll find plenty of events like this to try your hand at a good bit of multi-crew action. The idea behind this test wasn't to do everything in the most efficient way possible. Streamlining it can always come further down the road, and towards the end of the video, I'll go over a few of my ideas for scaling this up, and how we might squeeze some more credits out of it. But this was more of an information gathering exercise.
Okay.
So, step 1, let's think about how to get an Idris to spawn. On the unlawful side, it's possible to summon an Idris by causing enough mayhem. At a certain point, particularly if you're close to a space station...
Yeah, but you don't necessarily want to do that because then where you're salvaging is going to be some markers for people to come and take you, right?
The Navy might send one after you. However, a crime stat 5 might make it a bit difficult to do a spot of leisurely salvage.
Yeah.
But on the lawful side, you've got two options. The Arlington Gang Mission Chain and Critical Threat Combat Assistance Beacons. The latter are more consistent.
Oh, cool. Critical threat ones give you.
Spawning, so that's the route we chose. Just keep an eye on your contract manager for this service beacons tab, and look for the combat ones.
Nice.
You'll have to head to a beacon in dead space and keep some bad guys off a broken down NPC ship or two. Getting our rep didn't take long, particularly by sharing the missions amongst the group, then heading off to different beacons in 1s and 2s to quickly pass through the earlier levels of low threat and moderate.
Pretty smart.
At high threat, we tightened up our group a bit to quickly deal with the hammerheads, and within just over an hour of grind/PTU based crashes, we had our first critical threat beacon.
Wow, okay.
Now you've got one to spawn, it's time to go hunting. And at this stage, despite some issues with the friends list not working, we'd managed to assemble a party of 8 in our server. So we opted for 2 Redeemers and 1 Eclipse. If you're going up against Aegis, bring some Aegis of your own. The heavily ballistic loadouts of the Redeemers were perfect for chewing through a large ship like this, particularly after the changes to ballistics in 318 making it penetrate shields a lot more. And the size 9 torps from the Eclipse added some punchy alpha strikes. The Eclipse was particularly useful for taking out the Idris' escorting hammerheads quickly, allowing the Redeemers to conserve their ammunition to focus on the main target.
And you don't want to blow up the Idris, you want to soft death it, right?
And one of the Redeemers came back with a reload, having expended all of its ammo and missile payload to finish the job.
Is that soft death?
But the explosions were worth the hassle.
I think that's death.
With the Idris dealt a death blow, it was time to bring in the Reclaimer to see how much extra cash we could extract from the beast. And this is where the PTU really started being the PTU. There's currently a bug with the Reclaimer's elevator breaking shortly after you take off in it. So we had a lot of fun and games just getting people to the right floors. But for anyone wondering why 318 is taking so long, this sort of thing
Well, that's interesting. I haven't had any issues with that.
is why. Still, conveniently another player's already filed a report on the issue council, so let's give that a quick upvote and get it fixed. Still, after much workarounding, I'm not sure if that's a word, we managed to get a few of us onto the bridge to operate the pilot's controls and the lasers, and a few of us down to salvage processing to get the boxes moving.
Look at it disappearing over there.
And it turns out there's rather a lot of RMC on a dead Idris. Using the
It's
trawler
crazy
module to
how
get the
fast it's
maximum
filling.
possible speed, this was a school night after all, we started scraping the hull and managed to get boxes churning out
Not gonna lie, I think you need 2 people in the back at this rate.
rapidly. Compared to the derelicts that are scattered
they have
around
2
Lagrange
people.
points, the rates of extraction were 2 to 3 times higher on the main section of hull. We assume this is down to the thickness of the skin on the Idris, and as you can see there's rather a lot of surface area to scrape here.
That's
A
crazy.
little disappointingly, the extra parts like the engines that have blown off, while they do yield some RMC, don't have such a high extraction rate, so probably if you're doing this for real, you would probably look to just avoid doing those.
Okay, so just main hull.
Long story short, after just over 2 hours since bringing down the Idris, we were on our way into Lawville to sell our haul.
I want to hear how
In
many
total,
boxes
it came
in
in at 208 SCU. We lost
What?
12 SCU to the first malfunctioning
208.
reclaimer that we replaced, and a couple of tractor beams that we had to make on account of not being able to freely move around the ship. So let's call that 220 SCU.
220. Okay.
With a sale price of around 7.7k per box, that netted us just shy of 1.7 million AUEC. And then on top of that, we got the 300k for completing the critical threat beacon in the first place.
Wow,
So the total
okay.
take comes in at about 2 million to share out amongst your crew. That was 8 in our case, so 400k ahead for a session. But while 2 million's nothing to sniff at, now it's time to talk optimization, because
But
as I
it is
mentioned
in
in the
2
beginning,
hours.
we were focusing on a first trial here rather than a streamlined process.
Because here's the thing, people will look at it as, well, it's 2 million split amongst the 8 people that you had, right? Yes, but you also, with those 8 people, are able to just make 3 million appear in a very short period of time.
First up, we had more people than we needed on the Reclaimer. We probably
God,
didn't
there's
need
4
help
people,
from safety
yeah.
officer, for instance. And had everything been
You always need a safety officer. What if Mongrel Squad is
functioning
around?
and running smoothly, then we could have managed perfectly fine with 5 of us aboard the ship. Also, the ship being bugged out really did stymie us a little bit. So the inability to transit around the ship cost us a big chunk of time with people up top in the bridge running out of food and water, while I was sat with a backpack full of crews down in the processing deck. And all the boxes flying around because we couldn't access the cargo hold itself also set us back a little bit. All in all though, I think with everything working as intended and a bit more practice, not only could we cut the time down to around 90 minutes to strip the hull of the Idris, we could have probably done it in 90 minutes using the abrade modules rather than the trawlers.
Yeah, and the abrade gets you the more salvaged material.
The trawlers, due to their much larger surface area, give a higher extraction rate, but its lower efficiency means that there's going to be wasted RMC. And if the efficiency stats of the lasers are effectively percentages, as I expect, then the same area salvaged with only abrade modules would have yielded 284 SCU, taking our kills value up to a little under 2.2 million credits. So
Just so you know, Cinch is top, abrade's middle, trawler's bottom. Because since I'm in front of it, I can move myself a little bit here. But thank you, Loudguns, for sharing this info a little bit here for us. Right? Very cool.
2.5 million with the 300k payout from the beacon. But while 90 minutes would be great, it's still probably too slow, since if we're going to be efficient about this, we probably want to split out a kill team and a salvage team. The kill team can probably then bring down more than one Idris every 90 minutes, so we're going to need to bolster the salvage team to keep up.
Oh, true.
I feel something like this could make for a good operation to take advantage of this mechanic. A shout out to Starjump as ever for their fantastic fleet viewer tool that makes visualizing these things so much easier. Our
Cool.
2 Redeemers and 1 Eclipse will
Like,
require 7 crew, and
This is
probably
the
be
first time I've ever seen Fleet Viewer used for an actual operation of Fleet and not somebody showing off how much money they've spent on Star Citizen.
sufficient to keep getting an Idris down every 30 minutes as long as they're spawning. Meanwhile, by bringing our number of Reclaimers up to 3, each with an optimum crew of 5, we can strip the Idris in about half an hour as well. Reclaimers can always bunny hop one another if the kill team is a bit quicker on one and want to move on from that location they're holding. If you could make these numbers work, your crew of 22 people could be making 2.5 million every half hour, or 5 million per hour. And split equally, that's about 227k per head.
Which
While
is
this
not
might
worth
not sound
it.
overly impressive to some of the money-making pros out there,
But the thing is you as an individual in a large group, the money split amongst everybody if this game actually turns into a video game, that's not how it works, right? You as part of the Eclipse or part of the Redeemer or part of the Reclaimer, you're not getting the money. You're not splitting the money up when you're in a guild or an org or whatever. You are working towards a goal that the org is trying to achieve together as one. So if you're salvaging to build a station, if you're salvaging to build an outpost, if you're salvaging for whatever reason that you would be salvaging, it most likely won't be for money. And if that money is being used, it's being used for the guild, for the org, for something else. So you're working towards a goal and you're working towards it in an incredibly efficient and good way, even though if you think about it from a monetary standpoint, it's not worth your time when you could do it a different way for money.
I'd like to point out a couple of reasons this is far from shabby. 1, this is nearly $250,000 an hour for everyone in your crew. You can get newer players in and working, earning money at a clip far ahead of what they would if they were just sticking to a starter ship. And 2, well, it's a whole lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed the video and it's given you a bit of inspiration for what's to come in patch 3.18.
It actually
And
has.
one of the things I love the most in Starset is try and come up with
this is something that I absolutely want to do. That's such a cool idea, is the team and the getting the Idrises and all that.
these ways in which groups
I
of
really
players
wanna
can
do
work
this.
together on a bigger and bigger scale. And I
This has been the most inspiring Star Citizen 3.18 video I've seen yet.
particularly enjoy it when you can bring people together who love different things. Maybe some are more into combat, others into industrial
That's why I
gameplay,
think it's good.
and create a greater whole than the sum of the parts. If you think I've earned it, then please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and sharing the video with your friends, org mates, and that kind of weird auntie you only see at Christmas. It really helps and it would be hugely appreciated. With all that said though, thanks for watching all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
I think I'm already subbed to him, but that was my React channel that was logged in. I'm pretty sure I'm subbed to him already. But yeah, that was a really, really good video. Thank you for that, Loudguns. I hope this inspires you guys as well. This is something I'm definitely going to do with my stream at some point. This is really, that looks fun. The idea of getting the Idrises and farming that is actually quite cool. Yeah, I really like that. So, all right, thanks, Loudguns. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And if you guys are going to partake in any salvage, let me link his channel for everybody. But that is very, very cool. Very cool.